Hello everyone. In today's video I'm going to tie a nymph with super buggy rubbery legs, and those legs are obviously too long. The idea behind this is to make it as mobile as possible in the slightest of currents. Obviously, depending on the current and your presentation, you can maybe use some of these thicker legs, because if you want to move, literally present this fly more erratically, like to twitch it, then you can use something like this. If you're going to dead drift it and you need to your fly to move in the slightest of currents, then these thin rubbery legs are definitely way to go. The idea came to me a long time ago during some competition. It was very muddy. Just night before, I knew that the water is going to be muddy, so I prepared something that's going to move. At the time, I was using soft baits and stuff in muddy water of Danube River in Belgrade. So those curly tails, they were moving in muddy water, attracting zander. And my idea was to use some rubbery legs to attract fish in muddy water. I got fish or two in that muddy water. Literally, I was using Prince Nymph with rubbery legs, and I was dead drifting it. And by the end of the drift, when I was lifting the fly, I would slightly twitch it. The movement of the rod is like literally 5 to 10 centimeters, not more than that. And you just slightly twitch it, and you get strikes. Obviously, you can do that along the drift. When you get to the depth you think the fish is at, you can just slightly jig it up and down, up and down, up and down, and you will certainly get strikes. I know because I did it. So the idea is to have something that moves a lot. Even the slightest breeze of air will move those legs. Imagine what happens with currents. Water has more resistance towards everything, so current will move it even more. This also reminds me of something that's on the surface, Pararab. Just look it up. It's parachute fly with super long squirrel legs, halo technique around. It also gives some impression and it moves way better. There are also some oversized hackles on dry flies that are meant to move more, so it's not an idea that's new. It's just suited to the nymph and to the certain conditions in the water. So any condition in the water that's like low visibility, or fish are asking for some extra movement, try this. This is a concept. This is not a finished fly. I'm not gonna tie this one. I'm gonna tie this one. It's even easier and it gets a little bit more shine, and this shine will hopefully attract more fish. So it's a concept, as I was saying. You can, as I was saying before, you can make prince nymph, you can make pheasant tail nymph, you can make dubbing, BVO, whatever you want. Just add those legs, antennas, and tails. There are so many ways you can tie this. There is also perdigon, which looks basically like this. It's invented by a South African competitive angler. Cannot recall the name right now, but I will write it down. So this fly is also, as you can see, obviously similar to that one. So people just think alike. Yeah, that's it. So let's get into tying, and I hope you will like it. So materials wise, I will start with size 12 hook, dry fly hook. I will also use a jig off bead in 3.3 millimeter. I will use 2 threads. First one would be Semperfli waxed 12/0, and the second one is Vivus, and this one is perfectly suited for perdigons. You will see why. For the legs, tails, and antenna, I'm gonna use those Senyo's Shaggy Dub in black, and it's one of the amazing stuff that I bought, like most amazing stuff that I bought recently. I've been looking for it for a while, and I know it's a not new product, but for me, I didn't have a chance to work with it. Before, I used to work those legs. When you can buy these in Chinese stores to thread those beads and stuff, you can also use a needle to separate this one lengthwise, which can be cumbersome to do, obviously. You can see here it's already split, but to split it in half takes some skill. I usually do it across my nail. I literally stab my nail. So like I kind of flatten it. I stab through the middle and hope that it will go through well. And when it does, you just pull it apart. That's why I was looking for this product. Much better. I will also use flat wire, but you can use any wire you have. I will use pink to match the bead. The reason why I'm not using bead on the hook at the moment is that I want to put some antennas first. Sorry for my voice. I got cold or whatever, not sure. So you just take one strand, kind of fold it, just lead it until the eye. And if you use pull up to pull down technique, so soft wrap or the material and then pull up, you will not rotate and you will not have to do this all the time. You will not have to pull with your non-dominant hand in the opposite direction of your wraps. So do that, just go back, do a whip finish, and change your bobbin or change the thread in your bobbin. I already prepared bobbin, so I wouldn't waste any time, and I will use this side, concave side, to thread my hook into it, and this will allow the bead to jump a little bit further towards the eye. Not too much, but still. As you can see, I have antennas done already here. Now I'm starting with this Vivas thread, and as you'll see, because it's thick, you don't need to use too many reps, so you have to be kind of very conscious what you're doing with it. Basically, you're gonna do the same thing as you did to the front. So I didn't tell you, so let's go. It's easier if you go from behind with this dub, this one rubbery leg, whatever you want to call it, from behind so it doesn't slip towards the hook bend, and then just go over it, and it will basically perfectly align it where you need it to be. Very easy thing to do. And now you can try to create some taper, but this is not so easy with it. So I'm trying to untwist, but this is not flat thread, so I have to use a little bit more pressure over here. So I created some taper, which is okay. And now I'll just go and push the bead towards the front. You can go and do this. Now I have to pull those legs. I want to crisscross a couple of times. So here I can add a little bit of super glue just to keep everything in place. Tiny little drop. It will soak. It will keep everything from spinning. But at additional wraps will make sure that it doesn't happen too. And UV glue. Now, last step to tie is obviously 2 more legs. One addition. I know that I'm using super glue sometimes to varnish my perdigons and stuff. Don't use it with rubber legs. At least not this type, because it will kind of soak into these legs and it will literally curl up. So this is okay. Just rotate slightly. Slide it under. See if everything is right. Seems right. Okay. Just make this a kind of thorax. If I need to reposition legs, I can do it now. A little bit of pressure will make those legs stand out. One here, one here. Okay. Whip finish. Now with whip finish, I'll control further where I want to position my legs. So if I don't want them to be too much forward, I'll just place whip finish not behind the legs. If I want them a little bit more far behind, I would position the thread behind. So basically it's up to you what you want to do. And it's also up to you now how neat you want to be. I'm using Chinese brand of UV. You can use any UV you want. Actually, I bought a big box of UV, so I'm gonna try it. And as you can see, it's huge. So let's try this one. It's 250 milliliters. Yeah, let's do it. I need to cut. I cut a little hole. Viscosity is good. Not too thin, not too thick. As you can see, okay, not bad, not bad. I just need to check underwater how it behaves. Does it get white? That's being a problem recently with some of the UVs, even with like branded ones. A friend of mine was telling me that his nails were getting white. So my assumption was that he didn't seal everything right, but that wasn't the case. He's quite neat guy. So he told me, no, it was sealed very well. So I don't know what is happening, but yeah. So I'm just running over everything here. And as you can see, I'm pulling one of these legs. That's my final touch when it comes to control of the leg spread. I just want it to be spread everywhere. As I already told, the idea is to move as much as possible. And this thin rubber is moving even when I'm talking. Slight blow into it. You can see what happens. Now imagine what happens when the water currents are hitting into it. Tacky, a little tacky. Let's start to torch it a little bit more. Let's see what happens from the underside. It's a little bit tacky, so there is a solution to it. Alcohol, rub it in alcohol and it will remove this tackiness. Or better yet, leave it in the sun for a few hours and sun will dry the UV and it will be less tacky or not tacky at all. Now let's see what this additional time did. Yeah, definitely less tacky, but hard. I like the feeling of hardness. Yeah, not bad. As you can see, everything is moving nicely, and I would literally leave this nymph as it is, like with these huge legs, because I think That's gonna be a nice trigger. Yeah, that's gonna be a nice trigger. I did something very similar, more neat, obviously, because I was using thread that I can control, flatten, and I can control taper way better. And as you can see, the end result is way better too. But I don't think fish will care. So yeah. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked it. I hope you'll try this one next time you hit muddy waters or any kind of waters that demand something rubbery, leggy, buggy that moves a lot. So yeah, keep safe, tight lines, and see you next time.